Currently nominated for AMC New Male Artist of the Artist Award.
Did you practice this intro?
No, I didn't. Okay. I'm gonna take it from the top one more time, man. I just fucked that up. Actually, I did practice it, but I was embarrassed to say that because how bad I just did. All right. Our next guest, Rolling Stone has dubbed. Outtakes. All right, one more. Our next guest, Rolling Stone has dubbed him as country music's most convincing young star since Chris Stapleton. Just launched a new single on April 5th called I'd Call Grandpa. Currently nominated for AMC New Male Artist Award. He's a long-haired country boy that hails from Bergen, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Dillon Carmichael.
That's one of my favorite songs, Long-Haired Country Boy. That's good, yeah, man.
You finished strong.
That's the only thing that matters.
I mean, we're keeping all the first two intros in, too. Where in Kentucky is that?
It is 45 minutes southwest of Lexington.
Southwest, okay.
Yeah, so Lexington's like one of the smallest cities in America.
Yeah.
I love Lexington, but if you go 45 minutes south, you're in BFE.
Oh,
Kentucky.
yeah. I looked at some farms over that way. I got a farm just north of Hopkinsville.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not far from you in Henderson, actually.
Nicholasville's close, Whitetail Heaven.
Yeah.
Out there. It's real close to where I grew up.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but I love it out there. We might end up back there one day.
So what was growing up in Bergen, Kentucky like?
I'll kind of tell this story backwards, but when I got to Nashville, a lot of people were like, God, I couldn't wait to get out of my hometown. It's like, I never wanted to leave my hometown. I really didn't. The only reason I did was because I wanted to do music, and there was only one place to do country music. But I loved growing up there, really. Just every aspect of it. It was a farm community. I didn't actually grow up on a farm, but it was a farm community. It's a small town. Yeah. Everybody kind of maybe knew a little too much about each other, but overall, just we all were like, my whole town were like just a big family. Like we all just grew up together, literally. Like my friends' parents were like parent figures to me, and my parents were like parent figures to my friends. And when we got in trouble from all angles. My school was kindergarten through 12th grade.
Oh,
all
really?
in one building.
How many kids were in your class?
I graduated with 18.
Wow. No shit.
Yeah, little bitty town, man. It was awesome. And
so you knew everybody in the school.
yeah, I no kidding. Like, but like I saw a video the other day. It was talking about the last kind of good generation or like experience that a generation had was like kind of when I grew up was maybe like the last, or when we grew up was like the last good, because it was before social media. When I grew up, like MySpace was kind of around when I was in high school, but it was like Facebook and all that stuff did not exist when I was growing up. And so we got bored and rode dirt bikes. If we were too poor to have a dirt bike, we played sports, or we went hunting or whittled sticks, or literally anything you could do to, but we didn't even have like cell phones. Like iPhone 3, the first iPhone that was like a smartphone, came out after this. Like, so it was a cool way to grow up, man. I really loved it.
I remember, just the regular phones that you'd have to call up your buddies. Like, hey, is Tommy there?
And you couldn't text.
No,
because you
couldn't
had,
text.
and you only had so many minutes.
Yeah.
Only
had so many
I didn't
minutes.
get a phone till I was 16.
You had to hit 5 like 3 times to get the letter C or whatever.
What was it? It was T9.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what
I didn't get a phone till I got to college.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't. I mean, I remember there's a payphone at school, and that's how you'd call. I'd call home if I needed something. 25 cents.
Did you ever
5 Still remember the number.
Did you ever call collect and instead of
Say what you need.
pick me up, mom, I'm at the bowling alley.
yeah.
Click. Will you accept a call from?
Pick me up at the bowling alley. No, I will not.
I love this conversation.
It's changed a lot.
It had, well, it has its benefits. If you think about social media, a lot of families have reconnected and stuff like that over. It's also probably torn some apart in small towns, man. Facebook, shoot. Small town Facebook is like the Jerry Springer show on steroids.
Kind of like my HOA has a Facebook page. Oh my goodness!
Oh God!
The cops got called in Samantha's neighborhood on me.
What'd you do?
So you can only park on one side of the street, and my car was facing the wrong way. So an old lady down the road called the cops, and the cops pulled up like, "Do we just need you to turn your car around?" I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, yeah.
And the fees are pretty expensive. HOA, I heard does that. I don't have one.
I don't have one either.
We're in this place in Hendersonville, just don't have one, which is good and bad, you know. But yeah, the fees. Somebody told me they were paying $900 a month for HOA.
What's your HOA in your neighborhood?
$80. There's also like 12
a month.
$80 a month. Yeah. There's also 12.
What do you pay for?
Houses. I think the common spaces,
Pool
pools,
stuff,
and I guess you're paying as a neighborhood collectively to just make sure that like your neighbors are having decent, looks good. It's a good looking neighborhood. No junk cars up on blocks like where I grew up.
Were you always into music as a kid?
Yeah.
Always country music?
No, not always country.
Okay.
My mom was a singer when I was growing up. She had a band and stuff, and she sang country. She actually came to Nashville and recorded an album. It's Becky Montgomery is her name, and she has two brothers that one in the 90s and one in the early 2000s had major success in country music. So my mom's brothers are John Michael Montgomery and then Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry. So from the time I was born to growing up, I was around.
You were surrounded by it.
Yeah. I mean,
so you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, and we all just loved country music and music in general. But when I was a teenager, I got into rock music, and I still love rock. So I thought I was going to be a rocker.
Who were you listening to?
Well, I really looked up. I wanted to be a guitar player first, and I really looked up to Slash. I mean, if I could have been Slash, I would have been just fine. I was like, I'm going to get me a top hat, and I'm going to grow my hair real long and curly. And then I was like, I looked in the mirror one day and heard myself talk, and I'm like, I'm not skinny enough to be Slash, and I sound like a damn hick. It ain't gonna work. But yeah, I had we put together like a little rock band. We play Skinner and Charlie Daniels band. We'd get playing Stained and some of the 90s rock, and we even played some Creed and some stuff like that, just thinking we were all rock stars. We were 14 or 15 years old, but eventually I would come to my senses and start writing country songs about when I was 16 years old.
When did you start playing the guitar?
I started playing guitar at 12.
Oh wow.
And my band needed a singer. Like I said, I was the guitar player, and they needed a singer, and so when I was 15, I told my band, I said, I'll be the singer.
Who was singing before that?
Well, just kind of anybody in the band.
Gotcha.
And those guys weren't great singers.
Yeah.
And I wasn't either. I mean, we sounded terrible. Just to be but we were 14 and everybody thought we were cute.
Yeah.
We'd book a show like down at the dock and we'd all set up our equipment and our parents would hype us up and we'd go walk up on stage with all this confidence and we'd be like, yeah, we're going to get so many girlfriends. And we'd get up there and it just sounded like straight garbage. But I loved it. I loved the process of it, and I just kept doing it after that.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun though.
Yeah. And then you said, go ahead.
How long did that band last? All the way through high school?
Honestly, you'd be surprised. Like, I was 14 in about a year and a half, something like that. And we all just had different, the bass player wanted to be a reggae. He loved like Bob Marley and stuff. And the drummer was a metal drummer, but he also he liked Christian music, which is, you would think that, but he ended up being a worship leader.
No kidding.
Yeah. And he's still a friend to this day. The guitar player was like a indie rock guy, and then we had another guy with Southern rock, and
you guys are all over the map.
We were all over the map, and then I started getting into country. So by the end of it all, we were arguing over: are we going to put Metallica on the set list, or are we going to put George Strait on the set list? It just got, it just didn't work.
Quite the conundrum.
No kidding. You said you started writing at 16?
Yeah, I started dabbling in it.
Did it come naturally to you, or
Never did, still don't.
I hate it.
No, I don't hate it. I will say I do enjoy it. I've grown to really love it, but I was never naturally a great songwriter. Singing has always felt comfortable to me.
Sure.
That's always been something. Once I got it, it was something that I enjoyed doing and that I didn't feel as challenged. But songwriting took me a decade.
No kidding.
To get in a place where I was like, okay, I can like hang in a writer's room. It took me a long time. Late bloomer songwriting.
Do you write the music first or the lyrics first?
It really depends. One thing I can say is that I definitely start with a title of some sort, or some sort of idea.
Gotcha.
And then, but other than that, usually they kind of all happen together. If you do it long enough and you kind of get to a point, they all just kind of come together. You just kind of play a melody, start kind of singing like, what do you think about this? And lyrics just kind of come out, and and your buddies you're writing with, they might go, I'm not really, it's not really that good. Or they might go, damn, dude, that's awesome. You know? But yeah, it's, you don't get a great song every time you write. And I don't care how big of a hit songwriter you are, you're going to have days. It's just that when you get better at it, it's the ratio of great songs that you wrote this year to terrible songs that you wrote this year you're gonna get more great songs this year than you did bad songs, you know. But everybody's gonna have a couple bad songs that they wrote every year, you know.
What age did you move to Nashville?
I was started commuting here when I was 17, and then I moved February of 2013. I was 19. I just turned 19.
You just pack up your pickup truck and drive out here. Huh?
I did, yeah.
Whenever you were 17 and you're commuting, did you get involved with somebody here?
Yeah, yeah. I was playing bars when I was 16.
In town?
In Kentucky.
Oh, in Kentucky, gotcha.
Yeah, I was playing at a place called Mama's Last Chance Saloon. It doesn't exist anymore. but I got a gig, and the bar owner said, hey, you can play here, but the only stipulation is that you walk through the door straight to the stage, you get on stage, and you play for 5 hours, and you can't pee.
5 hours?
You can't pee. You can't walk off stage at all until the bar's closed. And then when the bar's closed, I'll give you the thumbs up. You can get off the stage and leave.
What?
Yeah, like it was, but it was a gig.
Yeah.
And I was like,
how much were you getting paid for this?
oh God, it's probably like $50 or something, something maybe
Tips.
100, with some tips. And just straight covers. What I did was I would play all the songs I knew.
Yeah.
And then the crowd would rotate as the night went on.
Yeah, you were there for 5 hours.
Yeah, and so I would play like an hour set list, and I'd just like maybe start backwards and just go backwards. Play the same songs again.
New people.
And but so to answer your question, there's a woman by the name of Jennifer that was a publisher in Nashville, songwriting person, and she also on the side for fun sold like, I don't know if it was Mary Kay or whatever, but some sort of makeup thing. And she signed Dustin Lynch right before, like, this is a little bit before he like blew up.
Yeah.
She signed Dustin Lynch, and he was opening for somebody at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yep.
So on her way up, she hit this customer up about this makeup, and they're like, yeah, let's meet at this bar. And it was like in the middle of the day. And so they meet up at this bar to do this makeup thing or whatever. And the bartender or the bouncer started like coming up to Jennifer and like kind of hitting on her. Like, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm a music publisher in Nashville. He goes, oh, well, hell, you got to hear my buddy. And he pulls up a video of me singing an Eric Church song, early Eric Church. And she's like, oh, my God. Put him on the phone. I want to talk to him. And so he calls me, and here's a record label person. Didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Handed it to her, and she's like, hey, my name's Jennifer. I'd love to know when you're playing next. I want to hear you. I want to hear you play. And so she came to one of my shows, and she offered me a publishing deal on the spot. So I got offered a publishing deal when I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah. And so got down there and I was hanging out with John Pardi and Dustin Lynch and some different artists that she'd signed. So early in the game, I immediately started getting in with some pretty cool songwriters and stuff.
That's amazing.
I got lucky. There's clouds on the horizon later in the story, but yeah, man, it was super cool. And that's how I got down here. I had a girlfriend back in Kentucky that was kind of keeping me around. There were some circumstances that was keeping me in Kentucky. And then me and her broke up. And as soon as she broke up, I was like,
see ya.
And I went straight to Nashville, February of 2013.
16, 17 years old doing 5-hour sets. Like, you were putting your time in.
Yeah.
I mean, you were, I mean, that's impressive at that age.
And you know, my dad didn't know this at the time. He would have whooped my ass, but I was sneaking little shots or whatever, and smoking cigarettes. Of course. It just comes along with the music.
Yeah.
But I got it out of my system early. So,
Gotcha.
by the time I was in my early 20s, I'd kind of already been there and done that. I played the bars, wore the T-shirt and hat and all the stuff, and kind of got it out of my system. It was time to be professional. And so everything worked out just perfect.
Were you overwhelmed when you got to Nashville of being around those guys and writing and doing music and stuff? Or
I enjoyed it.
Or were you just so young that you didn't even know any better?
Probably.
Yeah,
I was really, really excited. And but at the same time, after being here for about a year, I got real disappointed. And,
why is that?
Well, because I thought when I was in Kentucky and I'm going to move to Nashville, and I thought everybody listened to Hank Jr. and Waylon and Willie and all them, and I didn't even realize that there was or 90s like Tracy Lawrence or whoever, Sammy Kershaw. I didn't know any of this modern stuff at all, and I got here and these guys, not talking bad about anybody. I'm just saying I just didn't know any different. Just dressed differently. They were pretty and fit and not rough around the edges. And it was like the most popular thing in the world. It was like the coolest thing. Like every record label wanted to sign them. They were blowing up. They had all these fans and all this stuff going on. And like it was not cool to be a rough around the edges, country, homegrown, redneck ass. It just wasn't cool.
It's getting cool again right now.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. Thanks to a lot of great artists that are changing the format per se. But yeah, man, but it was an exciting time. Like you said, I was young, stupid. I had no idea. I mean, I was going days without eating.
Where'd you live when you first got here? When you moved?
I lived in Antioch.
Oh wow. You were out there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stories that transpired in Antioch.
Did you live in an apartment with some buddies or?
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine, Ryan, that I'd met actually in Kentucky through the kind of music culture in Kentucky. He moved down to Nashville, and I moved in with him, and he bought a house in Antioch, and it was like a 4-bedroom type deal. It was a really nice house, but his idea was, well, I'll move in a bunch of songwriters and musicians and stuff. Became a bachelor pad. They all helped him with the mortgage and paid their part to stay there. And it was just a music. So I ended up living there 6 years, actually.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people come and go, but it was a music haven. It was actually really cool, even though everyone was broke and no one took a shower and smelled and drank way too much beer and all this stuff. We wrote a bunch of songs and played a lot of music, and all of us got better, and those guys went on to do different things. Some of them went and still play at Broadway. Some of them are now songwriters. Others didn't do anything. They moved back to Kentucky or back to Georgia or whatever. But it was just cool. It was a cool experience. But the Antioch thing, man, there was multiple occasions where the police would show up at our house and they'd go, "Hey, we're going to have to put the yellow tape around your front yard. There was a shooting here last night, and we believe the bullet may have went in the side of your house." Hey, you can't make this up, dude. They're like, "We believe this is like an active investigation site. Like we're trying to find the bullet." So they're up there like digging in the yard and looking at the side of the house to find this bullet where there was a shooting, like a gang involved shooting. No kidding. Like it was wild.
Did they find the bullet?
Oh man, it happened a couple different times. One was a shotgun, so they never found that. I don't think they ever found anything, to be honest with you. And there was another one across the street, was an apartment complex, same thing. Like, what are they doing down there? Oh, they're trying to find bullet fragments for the
Were you guys ever around when any of this happened?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What would you guys do? Just hold tight?
Once or twice a week we would hear some sort of discharge of a firearm. A lot of times it was gang initiation, because we would call the police and they would explain it to us. It was gang initiation. So what they would do is they would ride around and they would shoot into the air. It was just like part of their badassery or whatever they got to do to get in the gang, trying to be cool, like just riding down the street.
Just bopping around town.
Very rarely was it actually like a shooting, but there was a lot of firearm discharge.
My third year at Vandy, we lived on off of Charlotte, 38 in Charlotte. That was before like they've cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we moved into this house. There's 5 of us, and I mean, I think before they renovated the house, I think it was just a crack house.
Oh man,
because we would have homeless people, drug addicts on our porch knocking on the door all hours.
Just trying to score some more dope.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like, sometimes you leave for school in the morning and be like just 2 homeless guys just pass out on the porch out there.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd have trouble not selling them like a bag of baby powder for $10 and go buy some beer, like that.
It was a long year. It was rough.
I came up on this one time. I like was going the wrong way down the road or something, and I had to turn around, so I like whipped it like 1 o'clock in the morning, whipped it into this parking lot and went to circle around this building to come back out and go the right direction. Well, when I circled around the back of this building, I pulled up next to these, like went by these 2 cars, and as soon as I pulled around, these guys start walking towards me, like 5 guys, like towards my vehicle. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like looking, and I keep driving by, and they've got trunks open of these cars, and they've got pistols and stuff laying all over the ground in the back between these 2 dumpsters. They're making a gun deal back there.
Gosh.
So I like just trying to like quickly get out of there so they don't catch my license plate number, because you see some shit like that go down.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on this.
No, absolutely. It's the internet. You can do anything you want. A gang initiation of just shooting in the air. I mean, I don't know who this gang is, but I think if I was going to join a gang, I'd want something a little bit more legit. I'm just saying, like shooting in the air. Shit. I did that by accident when I was 10, pheasant hunting. Like anybody could shoot the fucking air.
It's true. Like,
Well, I think it was one of those things where they're like trying to.
so you want to be in a more serious gang, is what you're saying?
I'm just saying, like, oh, what'd you do? Yeah, I just shot at the moon. Shit, I've done that drunk with a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
I hope this gang doesn't listen to this podcast.
No kidding.
Coming for you.
I think it was like their way of letting, because like these members of these different rival gangs like lived in the same neighborhood I lived in. And now, by the way, this neighborhood is developed, and that dude like sold that house like 4 times the value he bought it for. Like Antioch's slowly but surely coming up.
You just got to weather that storm,
Got to weather that storm, but it was rival gangs coming through the neighborhood trying to intimidate the other rival gang that lives in that neighborhood, and that was, they would have the young bucks go do that because that was how they would. So that's a little bit more. Who knew that I was so immersed in?
But I assumed.
Let's move on from the gangs.
Yeah, you had firearms in your house. I would take a stab in the dark here. That you had a shotgun or something.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, I had stuff. I had from my grandpa and stuff. And I mean, I wasn't out there like buying a lot of firearms. I didn't have any money, but I inherited some. My dad gave me a couple things, some stuff to hunt with, and all that when I moved.
What's your favorite gun that you got passed down?
My dad gave me when I turned 21. It wasn't really passed down, but he gifted me with my first concealed carry. It was a Sig Sauer P9 What was it, P938? And at the time, that was the, you know, and I love that. Like, I won't carry it just in case something happened. Like, you know, like, I don't know, things can happen, and if it ends up involved in something, then the police end up with it and stuff. So I just leave it at the house. I've got different stuff now. I have, but I've got a shotgun, turkey gun. Dad gave me when I was 12. First turkey hunt.
Turkey season opens Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna get to go. I'm about to fly to Europe.
I saw that.
Yep.
Going to Europe?
Going to Europe. Yep. Monday. Leave Monday. So.
Where?
Well, I'm going everywhere. I'm going. We fly into Ireland, then we go to Scotland, and then we go to,
Have you been
the
to
whole
Europe?
UK, London.
Have you been to Europe?
Never been. Never been out of. Well, we went to Costa Rica for our honeymoon.
Gotcha.
A couple years ago. Outside of that, never left the US. So yeah, we're going Ireland, Scotland, all of UK, like London, Manchester.
Yep.
And then we go over to Amsterdam, and from there we go to Germany, Sweden, Norway. I feel like I'm leaving a couple out.
That's gonna be fun.
I'm on tour with John Pardi,
Yeah.
a world tour with John Pardi, and so he's going to essentially all the EU or whatever you call them, European Union places, and so yeah, I'm a little nervous, but
You could do some hog hunting over there, or red stag hunting. I know it's a pain in the ass to get your hunting license.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you could pay an outfit.
$20,000 later.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, baby.
I bet it's every bit of it.
Yeah.
That would be cool. We're not gonna have time. We barely have time. We're trying to figure out a day to play golf over there. It's like, I think we're gonna play in Scotland.
You a big golfer?
I love golf, man. Not very good, but love it.
You and me both.
Yeah, you're not very good either.
Me you.
It's not true.
I mean, you set the game. We went to Top Golf a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
He's like, "Oh, let's play Angry Birds. This is my game. I'm gonna crush it." And I destroyed him.
Debatable. So you're in this music halfway house, surrounded by gangs, writing and playing. Do you have you still had your publishing deal then?
Okay, so I was talking about the clouds on the horizon. I was in that 3 years into that publishing deal, and I didn't have any cuts. Like nobody recorded any of my music.
Yep.
I was on the fence, like trying to figure out me as an artist. You know, I knew I wanted to be an artist. They weren't 100% sure, probably, that if I was qualified to be an artist of any kind. I was so young.
Were you playing at bars downtown or anything?
Nope, I never did that.
Okay.
Never did Broadway. The reason I didn't do Broadway quickly is because they said I was too country. I auditioned at all the places. And
you were too country?
Too country. It was right in bro country. Like they wanted Florida Georgia Line, Sam Hunt, and I was singing Merle Haggard. So,
I love Merle.
Yeah, I love Merle. But anyway, so yeah, that publishing deal, they basically came up to me and they're like, you know, you just don't really have a lot going on. We've put a lot of money into you, and it's just not making a lot of sense right now. You know, maybe down the road or something. But
what year is this?
This is 2015, 2016, probably.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No, it was probably 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And so that ended. I quit getting a paycheck for writing songs. I quickly realized after that I hadn't met enough people to try and like get another one. Like I called pretty much everybody I knew. Like, hey, I'm looking for another pub deal. And they're like, oh, well, man, you know, we'll see what we can do. And
good luck.
Yeah, nothing. So rent started coming up, and I'm like, oh shoot, man, I gotta figure something out. So my buddy goes, well, you're a pretty big guy. You could probably do like security or something. So I got online. I saw the Opry was hiring, the Grand Ole Opry was hiring security people. And so I applied for it. I went and did an interview with them, and they're like, yeah, man, shoot. Yeah, you're great for the job. $9.50 an hour. I was working part-time at the Opry. And then I was trying this thing where I'm like, I'm not giving up on music, so I'm not going to get a full-time job. I'm just going to get a part-time job to help pay the bills. And then I was like, I'm going to get some gigs. Kind of just squeezed by for so long. Did that for a couple years, just broke as a joke. Moral of the story, this whole time broke as a joke. But
Were you still in that house at Antioch?
still at the house in Antioch. So I left the Opry because I heard Broadway's where the money's at. So I went down there and became the front door guy checking IDs at Honky Tonk Central
Okay.
on Broadway.
Yep. Remember that place?
Full time, ended up doing that full time. I worked, God, like 40 to, normal 40 to sometimes I was trying to do as much overtime as possible.
Was music kind of fading for you at that point? Or
Music
were you still
was pretty much gone
Really?
at this point.
Gotcha.
This is 2016, 2017.
Was there any thought of moving back to Kentucky at that point?
Yes,
Gotcha.
100%.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. That is the point where I was like, why am I even here?
Yeah.
Because what I was doing is I was working Monday through Thursday at Honky Tonk Central. I didn't want to work weekends because these guys were, the stuff they dealt with was just
it's just
insanity.
shit show
I mean,
on the
I dealt
weekends.
with craziness out there, but and I was like, I'm going to get some gigs on the weekends. So what I would do is work Monday through Thursday at Honky Tonk, and I'd go up to Kentucky. And one weekend I'd hit Elizabethtown. All weekend I'd play up there. Then I'd go to Lexington, and then I'd go to Louisville, and then I'd go over here and over here, and then start all over and do it again.
Yeah.
And so I was just gigging in Kentucky on the weekends, building a fan base there. And then I was working the security job, and the name from earlier, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And we reconnect, and she's checking in on me, going, "Hey, how you doing? You doing all right?" Well, yeah. How are you doing? She goes, "Well, I'm pretty good. Things have changed." She's like, "I am now the president of a brand new record label."
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So Mary Kay's out the window at this point.
Mary Kay's still a side hustle for her.
Yeah. And she's like, we end up talking more and more over weeks period. And she ends up getting me meeting with the investor, the guy that's funding the whole thing.
Yeah.
We all just really hit it off really great, and we end up signing a record deal over there. So
Really?
I'm still with them, been with them for almost 8 years, Riser House. And so it was awesome. It was really exciting time. They were like, I was just in such disbelief. I was
Were you like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, I think I asked like 7 times. Like, I'm like,
you guys sure about this?
I'm like, so we're gonna make an album, right? Yes, you have a record deal. That's what we do. I'm gonna play, like, I'm gonna go on tour. Yeah, you're gonna go on tour. We got to find you a manager. Like, oh, I got to have a manager. Like, I'm just totally oblivious to the whole thing.
Sure.
I'm like, can't believe it. Changed my life, really. I mean, there's 2 ways that could have gone. I could have done that with them for a year or 2, and they were like, drop. But they've stuck in there with me, and just like me as a songwriter, I've always just kind of stuck to my guns. I've been a little bit hard headed. I wanted to keep my music, just at whatever cost. I wanted to keep my music something that I enjoyed doing, that spoke to me and inspired me, and I wasn't going to sell out or whatever. I don't really like that. What I don't like about that word is that you want to sell out, and your fans should want you to sell out, because that means you're going to be able to keep making music. But I get what they mean when they say that. And so I didn't want to do that.
Sure.
I didn't want to sing music that was just because whatever. I wanted to sing something that inspired me. So they were a great label. They still are. They wanted me to be myself. And unfortunately, if you be yourself, but yourself is not popular or trendy at that time, you're not going to do anything. So it's just taking a few years to get going, but we're getting there.
It's the music industry it's a shit show sometimes. I mean, it's just, especially country. I mean, it seems like, because you came in whenever it was that bro country, and now it's kind of getting back to like country.
Yep.
Kind of ebbs and flows a little bit. And I mean, now, Luke Combs obviously kind of changed things, what it looks like a little bit, and
and
some
Stapleton.
and Stapleton and some of these other guys have.
I haven't given much thought to the ebb and flow that you're talking about, and the sell out, that type of country music. I personally like George Jones, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings.
Yeah.
Conway, Tony C, and Ernie Ford. That's what I like. But I also know that I put it on and no one else likes it anymore.
Yeah.
And but I think it is coming back around. But I haven't given any thought to the ebb and flow of the style of music.
Yeah.
And I think you're about to catch a good wave.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully I'm not getting too old. I don't think I am. Stapleton was 37 when he did the CMA thing, and I'm 30, so I'm supposed to technically be in my musical artist prime.
You're in your prime right now.
Say, but yeah, man.
Jelly Roll would speak different.
Yeah, well,
But I love that guy.
I know he's freaking awesome, man. But what it is that they didn't. The artists didn't. The reason they were outlaws, and it wasn't because they were getting in trouble and getting arrested necessarily. It was that they refused to do what Nashville wanted them to do, which was do the music that's popular, sing like this, play guitar like this, act like this, because it worked last time, it's going to work again. They said, I'm going to do what I want. And if it doesn't work, I guess it will be that. And it wasn't about money necessarily, and it wasn't about fame for them. And that's what made them outlaws. And to me, that's what made their music really special, was that it was just real and authentic themselves. And it's not often that you come by people in general in today's time where it's not about money and even fame, So a lot of people scratch their head and they're like, what do you mean it's not about money and not about fame? Well, to me, it's about music. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to go back and work security? No. I want my wife to be able to have things that she wants to have that makes her happy, puts a smile on her face. But for me, it's like, how do I make music in a way that I can make a living like my buddy back home that works at the factory, that has a decent car, decent little piece of land, nice little house, and a cool little life. I don't give a crap about any of the other stuff, just to be completely honest with you. But I think that that lends itself to a better experience in the recording studio and when you're writing songs, when you don't have that on your mind. Because I would have changed and been way different by now had that been my goal,
What's the back in Bergen, Kentucky? You said your buddy, working factories. What's the main source of income there for everyone?
There's a couple factories. They make whatever. Then a lot of blue collar stuff like civil engineering, working on the road, working on the railroad. What other blue collar jobs? There's a lot of rock quarries and stuff like that, mining and different things. And then there's very few went to college and went and became doctors and stuff, and then there's farming. It's a big farm community. God knows they ain't making no money.
Soybeans and sweet corn.
Yeah, and back in the day it was tobacco, and cattle still. Beef is still pretty predominant.
We started planting popcorn. There's a different type of seed for popcorn rather than corn.
I did know that.
I did not know that.
I don't know how to harvest it and get.
Well, it's normal. It's like sweet corn you eat. Like you gotta wait for it to get soft. Like they're doing that. They're pulling the popcorn stuff early, and it's just like you peel off the husk, and it's like just kernels.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. How do you know this? Where'd you learn this?
Because we lease out some of the land to some of those farmers out there, and usually we rotate soybeans. But last year he was like, the money in corn is just shit. So
I see.
So he's like,
so you're actually doing like dealings with
so he's like, we're gonna plant popcorn. I was like, isn't that just regular corn? And he just He's like, no, it's a special. It's a different seed.
You can't grow it in Arizona.
I thought this
You know, popcorn all over your fucking field.
I thought you just Googled this last night or something. No, that's awesome, man. I didn't know that.
Are you a Wildcat fan?
I am. Yeah.
So what do we think about Calipari leaving?
Oh, man.
Is it time?
Well,
Was it time?
Before we get into this conversation,
Preface something.
I'll just say I'm not the most versed in sports.
Okay.
We are talking about the perfect sports subject though, because I am Wildcat. So if we go much further than Kentucky Wildcats in college,
We won't go any farther than that.
and I know you played NFL, so I don't, you know, I was talking to Casey Beathard the other day.
Yeah.
And he goes, I said something about like your son plays football or something, right? He's like, yeah, he's in the NFL. And I'm like, oh, dang, really? I thought it, you know, and he's like, oh, you don't keep up with my son's career? And I'm like, dude, I apologize. I don't, and Casey's one of my best buddies, but, so just to, but yeah, Calipari, I feel like it's time.
Yeah. He's been there. I didn't know he was there that long. He's been there for a long time.
He has
16 years or something.
Really?
15, 16 years. Yeah.
What I noticed in the, you know, in the games is that like the talent's there. Like,
Yeah.
like they know how to find the talent, but I just feel like it's the discipline and kind of like the mental training and the ego, like keeping the ego and like letting as soon as they get in the lead, every time they play great and they get in the lead, and it's like, well, here we go. They're in the lead, and if they're going to start going to their heads now, and every time it happens, they start getting in their head.
He's been like, he just gets those one and done kids too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not really a team. Like, he gets these freshmen and they're all world, and they go school for 1 year and then they're in the NBA.
Yeah. It's not sustainable. Yeah, and I don't know what he's going to do, but I'm really excited to see who comes in who takes his place. But it excites me. The one reason I'm excited is because I feel like maybe I'm starting to. My wife and I both are the same way. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even realize the season had started, kind of thing. Her and I both are really starting, because of our friends, are starting to kind of like really get into it a little bit more. So to be continued.
Start betting a little bit. You'll get a little bit more into it.
That definitely, yeah. I think there's probably healthier ways to get into
That's good.
Much healthier.
Yeah.
Did you meet your wife here?
No, we met in Kentucky, in Lexington.
Okay.
Yeah, she, her friends and her went to one of my shows, not unknowing. They didn't know who I was, or like they weren't fans or anything. They knew this bar was open and they were having live music. So they're like, let's go see some live music. And my wife and I were friends for a couple years after we met at that bar. She had no interest in me at all, which I understand. And I always liked her, but I was on the road all the time. I'd gotten a record deal and was on tour at this time. So I was all over the country, and we would text and call every now and then and talk about stuff, and she would date guys, and I'd kind of have short-term like flings with girls or whatever. And we were always just for a couple years
Missing each other.
And there was like a week where it snowed a bunch,
Okay.
and a bunch of shows got canceled, and I got snowed in Kentucky.
This is so romantic.
Hey, it actually gets more romantic. There
love
was
story.
one show that didn't get canceled because they were like, screw it, we're doing it. And it was at the Castle in Versailles, Kentucky. And so I invited her to come to that show. And so like I'm inviting her to this castle, and it's all snowy everywhere, and it was just really cool. And we ended up, because all my shows got canceled, we ended up like spending 2 or 3 weeks straight just hanging out. Like we just really hit it off. After knowing each other for that long, we were friends first, which really lends itself to a great relationship. Like we still are like best friends in the whole world. Like, but it was awesome. I told her, I was like, I did everything I could to set her up for this lifestyle. I was like, or at least like warn her about it. And she was like, I'm going to take it on, like head on. She's just taking this thing head on.
Is she going on tour with you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She actually works with the record label now. So
Okay.
she's in the music business.
Gotcha.
Which is crazy. This is a new development, by the way. She's been in hotels for.
Okay.
She graduated with a hospitality degree, and
She excited about the new gig?
she loves it. Yeah, she didn't love the hotel thing. I mean, I think it was one of those deals where it was structured and comfortable, and she had a degree, and it was she made great money doing it, and it made sense to her when she was in school and going to college.
But it wasn't a long-haired country boy singing to you in a castle while big snowflakes are dropping, you know? I feel like she might be Elsa, you know?
Yeah, she was going to come today, too. She had some stuff to do. She does a lot of social media and marketing stuff, so she's got some work to do today. But yeah, we'll have to y'all. We'll hang out after this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So, growing up in Kentucky, hunting, fishing, all the above. What was your favorite outdoor activity?
When I was younger, it was hunting.
Yeah.
Now fishing takes
Primarily whitetail, turkey.
Oh yeah, whitetail. Yeah. And then when I was 12, 13, I think it was when my dad got me my turkey gun, and we started doing turkey hunting. But it was always deer hunting. You know, I had a climber stand. My dad had a climber stand. He got me one, and he had a farm that he leased. Had a camper up on the hill. We had fires and ate beanie weenies out of tin cans and sat around fire and got up at 4:00 in the morning. Took our climber stands out and picked a tree.
Picked a tree and shimmied up that damn thing.
Have you ever had the bottom almost fall down the tree on you?
You know,
I don't mess with climbers, so I'm out of this discussion.
You know, I haven't been in one in a while because I've just hunted hang-ons now. But my dad warned me. It happened to him, and he taught me a little trick. You take when you go to buy your slip knot and your rope for your harness, get two, and take one and connect the bottom platform to the top platform, tie them together. That way, if it tries to shimmy down on you, that rope will tighten down, keep it from falling. So I learned that early on.
You did not learn that.
I didn't connect the two. I didn't wear a harness. And one time it was dark, and I was climbing a tree, and I had big rain boots on. And you know those little plastic hooks that you put your feet under?
Yeah.
Well, my boot didn't quite fit under that, and I'm shimmying up the tree, and I hear it, or I feel it come off. I'm like, damn it. So I'm locked in the top one. I'm like, all right, I'm looking for it, and I could see it glimmer. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, and just slowly started hanging down and got my feet wrapped around it and brought it back up.
Oh man!
How high were you at this point?
Oh, it was going to suck.
The only thing worse than like straight falling out of a tree, though, is like I feel like based on what I've seen, is hanging there on a harness. Like it just absolutely
That's why I didn't wear one.
destroys. I know, but like you think just on the surface, you would think, oh, it's much safer, which it is, you know. But you're probably not gonna break any bones. But dude, I've seen pictures, just blood clots from sitting there trying to where it just cuts off your circulation, leaves bruises and everything. I'm like, man, even though I have it on, like God, I hope I don't this stand don't ever come out.
What's the plan after a guy's hanging there? You just call somebody, or can you is there a cinders to get back up?
I hope I never find out.
Yeah. No kidding.
I mean, call somebody. I mean, I don't know.
Call somebody.
Yeah, call somebody.
Like bring a ladder and come up here.
If not, just hug the tree and disconnect and just
keep a ladder handy, you know.
Shimmy down.
Bring the ladder from the stand up and
I don't know. I'm calling Luke. Luke, come get me, buddy.
I've fallen out of a couple tree stands.
What?
Yeah, really?
That
Why?
was one.
How?
Well, another one, it was a box stand, but it was homemade, right? So the 2x4s are far apart at the bottom, and they got closer because it was like a pyramid, right? And for the support.
It was a tree house?
Yeah, essentially.
Treehouse?
Yeah, but it was standalone.
Okay.
And it was on this lease that we had. And I was coming out of that, and the plywood was all muddy from climbing up. And I slipped. But when I slipped, luckily, my other foot was falling straight down, and I was able to push off the next 2x4 and get some distance between me and the structure, and then just jumped in a bush. But it was a long fall.
Dude, I weigh too much for that. If I did that, golly.
I was like a Siamese cat coming off that motherfucker. That's what I tell myself anyway. I probably looked at a bag of smashed dicks falling out of that.
I've never killed a big buck.
What?
You haven't?
Never killed a big buck. No, I had this year, or I guess last year, I was.
Is this just a summer
bow.
tour?
I'll have time to hunt this year. Yeah.
You're going to come up to my place in Kentucky then. We'll put you on a big boat.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'd love that, man. That'd be awesome.
Megan's coming up. I sent her a picture of the board, and she was like,
He runs a program.
I'll be there.
Yeah. That'd be awesome, man. I had this buck walk out last year. I'm on a lease in Tennessee now, starting last year. Hunted all year. Great piece of property.
Up by you?
No, West Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had this buck, 150, 155 class buck walk out 40 yards.
Bow?
Bow.
Okay.
Yeah. And I knew I did not shoot enough. I just didn't take the time.
It happens.
Stupid buck of a lifetime. He kept looking like my knees were like I'd never had that happen.
I get the
before.
same way.
Oh my God,
lose
I couldn't
shit.
stand. I was like, I was worried I was gonna fall out of the tree stand. I was just like, I couldn't stand up. My knees were just shaking, and he kept looking up at me. He's like, something's not right up there, but he wasn't spooked yet.
Yeah.
And he turned broadside at 40 yards. It was a legal shot, but it had started to get dark.
Yep.
A little too dark for a bow shot.
Yeah.
And
I've been
man,
there.
oh, gosh dang it, I took a shot.
Let one fly.
Could you see through your people?
I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, just not experienced enough with a bow. So this year,
So was it just clean miss?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, thank God it was a stupid shot. I should have
Yeah.
took it, but it went over him. I just was over. I didn't have a rangefinder too. Another rookie mistake. Even though I've been bow hunting, it's like I started out bow hunting actually. I've killed every deer until a couple years ago. Every deer I ever killed was with a bow. But it was just I've been too busy. Like I haven't taken the time to really keep my chops with my Matthews. I got old Matthews out back. Probably need to be hunting a newer bow. Didn't have a rangefinder.
Sam got a bow from 2012.
Yeah.
I bought the Matthews Z7 before
Oh, yeah,
I went
that's
on
right.
deployment. And 2011 or 12.
It's one of the best bows ever made.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just picked it up from Binks yesterday.
Yeah.
Nope.
Or sorry, the Lodge. Is it Binks Lodge? Is it
Nope. Ray's going to get mad. It's
All
just
right.
the Lodge
Sorry, Ray.
now.
The Lodge. I'm pretty sure it says Binks up top.
No, not anymore. I think they changed it.
But
Honest mistake.
I got it restrung for the first time.
Yeah.
And we go up to these total archery challenges, and everyone has these, really sexy catch me, fuck me bows. And I just have that old dinosaur.
Yeah.
Just throwing darts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm never going to get another bow.
Man, if it works,
Yeah. I
I
shouldn't
mean,
have said that. I might get another.
I still love the Matthews. I do. And when I shoot, it's comfortable. And, this is a mistake that a lot of people do make. That archery's tough, man. He was closer than I thought he was because of depth perception and darkness, and I'm probably about half blind. I haven't been to get my eyes checked, but I'm probably about half blind and half deaf and don't even know it. But I'm thinking he's whatever, and he was closer than I thought he was, and so I was aiming a little high to overcompensate because I was right there at that second pin, first pin area. It's like I'm just going to aim a little high, just right over it. Probably, if I would have made contact, it probably would have been no man's land or something, which you don't ever want to do.
No.
It's so. But yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd
we'll
love to
get you
have
up
an
there.
opportunity like that, man. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. We have got a lot of deer we need to get killed anyway. So
Management.
exactly.
Well, where can everyone find you?
Let's see. Well, I've got so all over social media. Every social media. Dillon Carmichael. Instagram's Dillon C Music. I think TikTok. Just type in Dillon Carmichael. I'm on Wikipedia.
I saw that this morning.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So if y'all want, if there's anything we don't cover
You know you've made
today,
it.
yeah, right.
When you got a Wikipedia page.
I love how you can go in and edit it. Like I'll go into Wikipedia and I'll be like, "That's wrong," and I'll fix it because I'm like, somebody was.
How do you edit Wikipedia?
You just there's like a little edit button.
And you can just change whatever?
Yeah, I think you.
Gosh, I'm going to change
Yeah.
mine.
So I can go in there and change yours.
That's
Or
like the
his?
whole Wikipedia thing.
Yeah.
Right.
This is great.
I shouldn't have said
I was
that.
for the rest of the day changing people's Wikipedia page.
You can. It's like it's a problem. Like,
So they can keep up with you. Dillon Carmichael.
yep.
.com. You're on Spotify.
Yep.
I'd call Grandpa
Yes.
out now.
All
Going on tour
platforms.
with Pardi.
Yep.
Overseas. So all the Europeans over
Yep.
there, get ready for these guys.
Get ready.
And then you'll be back, and we'll be killing some deer in Kentucky.
There you go. And I'm on tour with Luke Bryan this summer.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and then I just got off tour with Cody Johnson. That was an awesome experience. So who knows? Maybe
You need to get in with Luke over at his duck camp.
Yeah,
You been over
I've
there
never
yet?
been duck hunting.
Oh gosh,
never been duck.
Oh,
hunting.
you'll love. I love duck hunting.
Yeah, I met him once and talked to him for several minutes during the ACMs. He had all these people around him, and his manager came up, and she was nice enough to be like, "You want to say hi to Luke real quick?" And I was like, "That'd be awesome." I've heard that he's like a really good guy to hang out with.
Super nice.
Super nice guy. And so I went up and started talking to him, and I was one of those things where I like all these people were around him, like tapping him on the shoulder. So I talked to him, said 5 words to him. "Well, good to meet you, man. I'm going to let you talk to all these people." And he'd keep talking.
Oh yeah,
And then I talked to him some more, and all right, buddy, well, I'll let you get back to it. I don't want to take up too much of your time. And he'd keep talking. And then I finally realized he didn't want to talk to those other people.
You were saving him.
Yeah.
Every time I've went duck hunting, it sucked. But I was out there in a shitty boat. And it's raining.
You got to get in those blinds. You got to get
the buried Connex box.
Yeah, you got breakfast cooking. You're smoking a cigar.
I mean,
chatting it up.
I think I'd like doing anything in that environment.
Yeah, and then you just got one guy that kind of keeps a lookout. He's like, "Boys, birds are coming." And you're like, "All right, shit, let me get ready."
People have explained it to me. The only reason I haven't been is because I'm a workaholic. I want to tour more than anybody because I just love touring. So I'm always gone. But the way people explain it to me just sounds awesome.
Oh, it's so much
It
fun,
sounds
dude.
like a blast,
It
like
is.
a party.
It is.
And
It's a social event, and then you just get
Social
to kill
event.
some shit sometimes.
yeah, that sounds like blast. to me.
I think I'd just enjoy cooking or being the beer guy and being the hype man. Great shot, buddy! You guys are doing a great job out there. Knock them dead.
You would excel in that role. You're a great camp guy.
I love being a camp guy.
I know.
I'm a people pleaser.
We go bear and elk hunting out in Montana. I got a place
Oh,
out there.
wow.
And Sam's always the first one to be like, I'll be the camp guy.
Yeah.
Stay back, cook some dinner,
I love
have everything
that.
ready. Well, awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on, and good luck in Europe. You guys are gonna have a blast over there.
Yeah, man, I'm
fun.
excited. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to expect, and I don't know. I don't know why I'm nervous. I'm a small town guy like you guys are, and I just literally don't know what to expect. I'm probably just gonna look like the biggest dummy over there. I
No, it'll be
don't
fine.
know geography. I'll be like, where am I again? I don't even know what language, or whatever. I don't. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
It will
It's
be fun.
beautiful over there.
Well, check out Dillon. All the Spotify, Apple Music. Check him out. He's got his own website, and check him out on tour with Luke this summer in Europe next week.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
I feel like I've
Do you have
just
your
been.
passport?
I do, yeah, yeah. I feel like I've been talking about myself this whole time.
Well,
man.
that's the
I
point.
feel so weird. I know, but I said that to the same. I did Tracy Lawrence's podcast. And I was like, I stopped in the middle because I haven't done very many of these things. I really haven't. I've done.
You did
I
great.
did Justin Moore's a while ago, a couple years ago, and then Tracy Lawrence, and now this one. And when I was with Tracy, I just hey, you might want to cut this part out, but Tracy, can we talk about you a little bit? Like, I feel so uncomfortable. I feel so naked, like talking. I just don't like talking about myself.
I don't either.
He goes, "No, man, that's the point of it."
I don't even watch these things.
I hate listening to myself talk.
Oh, I can't watch them. I don't listen to them.
So I always ask Kyle and Christine, I'm like, did it sound right?
Yeah,
Like,
how
"That's
did it
good."
sound?
Because I think I sound like a blubbering freaking idiot. So.
Yeah,
and I hate my voice.
sometimes.
Yeah, it happens.
Hey, I'm a fan of y'all, man. Seriously, thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on and taking the time.
Looking forward to continuing to chat
Hell
with
yeah,
y'all. And
absolutely.
I got to get your
I'll get your
contact
number and
info.
stuff, and we'll get you up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, dude.
Cool, brother. Appreciate you, my man.
Easy.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, buddy.